Thank you.
And can you share now with us your quest?
Oh, oh. I've just been avoiding that. Well, oh. The very short version is my whole life I was just at war with myself. In so much pain and grief and rage and always running away. And I mean, for me, I ended up on my knee. I ended up suicidal, depressed, wanting to die. I realize now I never wanted to die. Really, I wanted to live. I just didn't know how. I don't think anyone really wants to die. We don't know what death is. When we say, I realize now for me, it was like I want to live. I want to taste life again. Well, I didn't realize that life was there. It was within me. It was within. All the things I was running away from were the very things that wanted to save me. Fear wanted to save me. Uncertainty wanted to save me. All my gurus were lined up. And now I was wanting to die. I'd become like an obsessive spiritual seeker, obsessed with becoming enlightened. I saw enlightenment as a future goal, somewhere to get to. How do I get from here to enlightenment? And it took many forms. It was like to get to enlightenment, to get to awakening, to get to a state. I thought it was like a state I had to get into. Oneness. I thought, how do I get from here to oneness? How do I get from here to no self? How do I get from here? But it was the same game. And so I just became exhausted. I became totally exhausted. And then wanted to die even more. Because my story was I had failed in the material world. Now I'd failed in the so-called spiritual world, And I think it was in the midst of that exhaustion. The exhaustion actually was a real wake-up call. It was intelligent. I realize now even my exhaustion was completely intelligent. What the exhaustion was saying, and it took me a while to listen to it. What the exhaustion was saying was, Jeff, just stop. Slow down. Be here. And so one day I was lying in bed. I was lying in my bed, completely exhausted, fed up, sick of spirituality. I couldn't read another spiritual book. I was so nauseated. I didn't want to hear one more word about bloody awareness or consciousness or the presence of the witness of awareness, the subject of the object, the witness of the self, no self, there's no self that has a self, and the self that drops the self, but who knows that the self has dropped, because if the self is... Who would drop a self? Am I someone? I'm no one. But if I'm no one, how do I know that I'm no one? Maybe I'm someone thinking that and then no one, or no... this was like 24/7. Oh my God. Always trying to work it out. Always trying to get there. Always wondering why I wasn't there yet. When will I get there? When will I get there? There. It's like mesmerized with there. This mystical land called there. Which you can't ever get to. Because you are there. Because you are there. So I was lying in bed one day, exhausted and fed up, sick. Just no more. And nothing really happened. There's not some big story here. Nothing really happened. It wasn't like a big experience, or it wasn't a big like fireworks. It was this really. It was just this. It was like a remembering. It was like, oh yeah. It was like that. It wasn't exactly like that, but it was. I remember I was I was looking over at a chair. It was a chair, and for some reason I was like, this chair caught my attention, and it was just a very ordinary chair. It wasn't like an enlightened chair. And it was just this sense of, oh yeah, like I've always known this. Everything is here. Everything I've ever longed for it's here. It's oneness, presence, consciousness. All these fancy words. It's got nothing to do with the fancy words and the concepts. It's just it's a chair. Oh wait, but it's not really a chair. It's life. I mean, this is where words. It's God. It's life. It's energy. Oh, it's love. Whatever. Appearing as a chair. You know, it was just this knowing. It was just like a knowing. And then it was the carpet as well, and I was like, I fell onto the carpet, and I was like, oh, carpet. I was. This is quite shameful, but I was kind of like hugging the carpet and going, I'm sorry, carpet. I'm so sorry. Because I felt it was like I'm sorry that I've ignored you. It was that sense. I'm sorry. I ignored you my whole life. I was searching for something, some higher state, some transcendent this, whatever, you know. And I completely lost connection with what I had called the ordinary. I had called it the ordinary because I was waiting for something extraordinary. And actually, it was extraordinary. It wasn't just a carpet. It was everything. It was everything. It was the carpet, and it was the walls, and it was the bed, and then there was an outside. I opened the window, and there was an outside world, which was very unexpected. There were trees and flowers and cars, and it was like, oh my God, it's all love, life, awareness. I didn't have any words anymore. The words came later, but also it was how radically inclusive it all was. It was included the body. That's what was so shocking. It was because for so many years I've been trying to, as a spiritual seeker, I've been trying to escape the body, transcend the body, be free from the body. All this freedom from. So it was like being a baby again. It was like, oh, it's the hands, and it's the hairs on my arm, and it's the feet, and it's the toes, and it's the feelings. It included all feelings. Like it was radically all inclusive. It's the feelings. So it's not just the joy. It's also the doubt. Like even my doubt. I've been waiting for so many years to get rid of doubt. I've been trying to get to a place where everything was certain. I knew. It wasn't that. It was like even doubt is sacred. The doubt and the uncertainty and the fear. Why had I turned away? Why had I turned away from fear? Why had I turned away from anything? And like I was saying before, it also included the story of Jeff. That's what was so shocking. I thought for so many years I've been trying to leave Jeff and become oneness. You know, or like get rid of my wave nature and become the ocean. I realized I had it all the way. It was completely the wrong way around. It includes Jeff and the story and the past and the future, and all appearing as thoughts, memories, dreams. So it was even that was honorable. Even that was part of this astonishing creativity. It was all part of the creativity. So that really turned my life around in a way that, like, it kind of ended the spiritual seeking. It was, now I realize it's just about honoring. That's all it's about. It's just about bowing. It's about bowing to whatever, every thought, every sensation, it's all inclusive. It's all an expression of oneness. It's not a threat to oneness. It's an expression of oneness, or whatever word. So, and I'm not saying that I never forgot that again, because that also was one of the I'm never going to forget this. I'm never going to, and I guess on one level I never really did. I could never really forget it. But, you know, there was some times, of course, where on the surface I would forget and get dragged back into a story and run away from a feeling. And then it's like, but life, you know, very quickly you'll be, no, come back, touch this, like feel this, bow to this, you know. So that kind of changed the whole course of my life, and I never wanted to die again. You know, because even the longing was sacred. You see, it was all sacred. Like even the feeling of, that's the crazy thing. Even the longing to die was sacred. That's why no one had ever taught me that. No one had ever taught me that even these so-called deepest, darkest urges in myself were honorable and sacred, and they just wanted to move. They didn't have to be acted on. They just wanted to be felt and expressed, and everything would... It's just energy, right? It's just energy. So it blew apart. It just blew apart all my ideas about spirituality and about awakening and about enlightenment and about, I realized that so much of my understanding of enlightenment had been just secondhand. Other people's words, other people's stories, other people's concepts, all the books I had read, other people's paths. I was sick of other people's paths. Even those lovely Indian guys with the long beards and the ashrams I was sick of her path as well. I wanted something I could trust. I wanted something that was true. What's true? That was always my question. What's true? But I was looking for it through the mind. Through. So I think sometimes you just have to lose your path completely. Sometimes you just have to not know what your path is. Have no clue anymore what your path is. Maybe sometimes that's the path. That's the next step. Sometimes that is the next step, is to not know what the next step will be. That is the next step. That's the path. To not know where the hell your path is going to take you. That's the path. The path of the moment. We're talking about the path of the moment.